So this was originally intended to be a learning piano video, but I quickly decided that that was way too much of a commitment for me. But I would still love to learn how to play, as it is one of the coolest instruments ever. So I thought, why not learn this the same way I did Spanish, which I never fully learned, which is learn the occasional bits and pieces to get by, but never fully understand what the hell's going on. So I'll be learning it a song at a time. And what better song to start with than the one I already know the melody to, for Elise. What you just heard was basically all I knew how to play on the piano when I started this challenge. I spent an hour every day for 2 weeks learning how to play this song. I found a 5-page cut version for beginning to intermediate pianist, and stopping only for food, water, work. Okay, everything. I just took time out every day to play. The first day or so I focused on piano skills like hand movements and learning to use my left hand because I only know how to use my right. But first, I sat down with Annabelle Tuggle, an advanced pianist, anchor, and reporter, and heard firsthand how difficult piano is and what it means to her.
My name is Annabelle Tuggle, and while I do play music, that's not usually what I do. Usually I'm working at the news station here in Abilene. I'm a reporter and also an anchor. Music has been a part of my entire life, really. That started from just in my family. My grandpa was a musician. He wrote his own music, and then that got passed down to my mom and got passed down to us. And so me and my siblings have always done music in some way. My mom put me and my younger sister in piano lessons when we were young. The piano teacher would say, you have to have this learned by the next week or whatever. And I would sit there for hours and hours and play the piano till my mom begged me to stop because it was so loud. I think I started playing piano when I was probably around 8 or 9, but it's definitely been over a decade. But even when I wasn't personally playing, I mean, my mom was playing around and we would always listen. But yeah, I've played piano. I've played guitar a little bit, but mainly piano probably since I was 8 or 9 years old. I think my family made me understand the importance of music, but I don't know. I think that music really helps people express emotions and feelings better than just talking sometimes. So I think people can sometimes express how they're feeling or even feel things deeper through songs that they connect with. So I just think music can be important in so many different ways in so many different genres. But yeah, maybe my family showed me the importance of that, but it's always just been important to me. So For Elise, I think was one of the first full songs I learned how to play that like I memorized, and it was my first hard song that I wanted to tackle. And I think I learned it probably at 11 years old, and so if I could do it at 11, you could do it. Now, I was in piano lessons, so yes. I'm not saying it's not going to be difficult at all, yeah. But I think it's definitely doable. You just gotta really practice. So one thing that my mom always taught me is you actually cannot over practice, because that makes it so anytime I was learning a song, my problem was I would sit for hours at the piano, and then it's like you practice so much that you almost forget everything. And then I was like, that's when I knew you have to take a break, and then the next day I could play that part I was practicing almost flawlessly. And so just practice a lot, but don't over practice. I would say probably an hour or so a day. But when you start to get to the point where it's all getting jumbled up in your brain, take a break, come back again tomorrow. I mean, you have to know how to read music if you're going to be using it off of a sheet. But at the same time, with YouTube now, a lot of times you could just look up how to play a song and then watch their hands and just memorize the movements. But yeah, if you know how to read music, that's definitely better. There's all different things you should know within the song as far as how loud you need to play that part and things like that. That's all in there, but I don't think that's necessarily super important for just learning how to play it in 2 weeks. I think that you can learn how to play it. All that is kind of mastering it, what I'm talking about.
I wanted to know before we leave, what are your thoughts on this challenge?
Yeah, I think it's a good one to kind of get you interested and, I mean, I think you'll just feel proud of yourself afterwards. Even if you can't do the full song, just however much you learn, I think you will be proud of yourself. So I think it's a good one. I'm rooting for you. Practice. Practice.
With this advice in hand, I started the very next day. And let me tell you, it was hard to stay consistent. Some days I didn't want to play, and some days it was just hard to pull myself away from the piano for hours. But I always found myself thinking back on what Annabelle said and taught me, and that helped a lot in the end. So yeah, day one was a wild but pretty calm day. It was the first 80-degree day in a while, and maybe that was a good sign. I realized quickly that Annabelle was so right. It comes in really handy to know at least some things, like how to read music. I'm using my mini piano. I wrote the keys on there. A new instrument for me. I've played music before, so I know how to read music, but it's been a while, and also I don't know it on the piano. I did the C keys blank though, because that is the one key I remember off the top of my head. I'm always like, that's C. And so I thought, not gonna put that on there, and I'm going to erase them as I start to learn them, like try to be like, okay, I need to know this off the top of my head, right? And then from there I'm gonna learn fingerings, learn how to use my left hand with my right hand, learning just these first 2 lines of the first page, because it's very repetitive, same thing over and over again. Very simple. It's, it's the classic part that everyone knows of the song. Okay, I'm freaking out because, look, it's been a while since I learned an instrument. I learned the first line and a half of the first page, and I would say, I think I did pretty well. I'm a little slow, but like, I'll get there, It's not the best, but I think that is a fantastic start to this challenge. Yeah. After day one, it just became a thing of learning a page and every 2 days checking in. I was practicing a lot, like for hours. I think even my phone was starting to get tired of it, let alone my roommate. But for how much I practiced, I was also sadly missing some days. It is official. It is day 5. I accidentally missed yesterday's session, which I think I'll make up for on the last Sunday of this performance day. But it's official that page 2 is the hardest. Page 1 was so easy compared to this. Page 1, I already kind of knew the fingerings because, like, it was my little party trick, I could, like, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, it was always wrong, but, like, it sounded nice. But page 2, you got the left hand, you got the right hand, and you're just going da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, what? You've got certain ones that are, like, overlapping each other. You have to do, what is this? B flat and C. Where'd you go? B flat and C. At the same time. I think I've come to the conclusion that, and I came up to this conclusion after like day 2, that this is incredibly difficult. And I mean, I already knew that, but I think that I'll be still really proud of myself. I'm already really proud of myself for learning the first page. Like, I got that down. But if I'm to learn the second page, I think I'd be really proud of myself if I even got that. And it looks like it goes back to normal at the very last line. So if I could just learn these first 4 lines, I would be so happy with myself. Like, This day, I really found my learning method. I would start with a measure, then a line, 2 lines together, then maybe like a whole page. And this really helped to break up everything into easier pieces to learn and make the whole experience less overwhelming. It's something that we did a lot in school. I started page 2 fully and truly discovered how difficult this song is. Page 2 was the most difficult for me, like I said on day 5, whereas page 1 was the absolute easiest. And I found that this is on par for how Beethoven intended this song actually. If you didn't know the story behind this song, it's believed that Beethoven had this piano student named Elise, who was not the best at piano. She could only really play super simple pieces. Well, Beethoven fell in love with her and decided to write her a song she could play, hence for Elise. But when Beethoven proposed to Elise, she rejected him, only to marry another man. In his heartbreak and anger, he took to the piece, making it more difficult so that Elise would never be able to play it, and so became the famous song that so many know today. And I am definitely feeling Beethoven's wrath, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so it's day 12. This is just a little update. 2 days away from final day. I've gotten really far and I've learned a lot. I've learned the first page. I've already started learning the second page. Now, this is a 5-page piece. So we're gonna get into some issues. I have not had enough time to really dedicate myself to this. I have spent an hour a day on the days that I'm able to. On the days I'm not, I've spent like 15 minutes maybe. But other than that, I have not hit my mark every day. I also have been procrastinating. It's a problem. So my only solution that I could think of was to spend extra time on the final day. So day 14 is going to be a hell of a ride because I'm gonna put a lot of time and effort into it. Maybe not like all at once, but like spread out throughout the day, so that I don't burn myself out. I'm not gonna get all 5 pages done. I have rested myself with that fact. I was kind of confident. I was very confident first day. I don't know if you'll look back on it, but I was very confident in myself. I thought I was gonna get it, but no. Just a little side note. You can see here me practicing my left hand and right hand playing separately, then adding them together to get the feel of it. Today is day 14. I'm going to be spending a lot of time today on this. Got my piano right here. Got myself, and I've got, I don't know, 4 hours that I've got to make up for missing in these past 2 weeks. Just being honest here. But I'm hoping to get it done today, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. I think I've gotten pretty far. I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's get into it. At this point, I just played and learned the final measures, corrected a few wrong notes, marked the rest in pencil. I spent all day playing, like all day, and I was able to get 3 of 5 pages done. I was actually so tired at the end of the day. Sometimes I would even just step away because the notes would blur together. And so the time has come. I'm to play this song to the best of my musical abilities, and I thought, why not go a bit bigger with it? I'm just kidding. This was supposed to be the final performance, but that actually wasn't until a week later. I had played so much that I had tired myself out and just couldn't seem to play the song properly. It didn't help to have an audience, and so I waited another week. I didn't even play the song really, but then I gave myself some time to practice and played the actual final song. Here it is. Thank you for watching. If you actually sat through this whole thing, I really enjoyed making this video. It was so fun. I learned a lot. I learned how to put both of my hands together. We discussed that. How to handle the clefs, like the harder clef, I would start with that first. So if it was bass, and then put them together. I learned to go line by line and section by section and then page a page, etc., etc. Just to break it up easier, and that really helped. And with that, now I can semi-sight read piano music. Like if I were to pull up a sheet of piano music, I can kind of like go through it, and not only the treble clef, which I already knew, but bass, and and go back and forth in my mind, and that is really cool. I mean, because with that, I mean, I learned bass clef altogether on top of brushing up on my treble. I learned whole new fingerings. The piano, brand new to me basically. Like, yes, I knew that little bit, but I didn't really know the fingerings, in all honesty. I just kind of like did it by sound and then would like play around. I had so much fun learning the song, and even though I missed a few days here and there, I still felt really disciplined in a way, It felt good playing an instrument again, and it kind of reminded me of band, high school marching band, like I said, and it made me nostalgic, and I was remembering like the good old days, old teachers and music and just a lot of fun stuff. And I might have cried just a little bit, whatever. And on top of everything else, I did take time to have breaks and just to clear my mind, not overwhelm myself. And I definitely recommend that for those that are trying to do a challenge as hard as this. It's really helpful. It really is. Beethoven knew what he was doing when he wrote this. He really did. I'm just glad I talked myself out of doing this in one day, because that was the original plan. And let me tell you, I probably would have had a mental breakdown if I did that, no joke. Shout out to Annabelle if she's seeing this. She was kind enough to help me with this, and she is just such a cool person, and I think she made this project like 10 times better and easier, in all honesty. Make sure to follow her on all of her social media. I will link that below, and I mean, definitely follow her on TikTok, because she makes hilarious videos with our weekend weatherman. Someone commented, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
No. No.
You can do it. You can do it. Please, Pete.
No.
Please.
Which, sadly, she will be leaving. This weekend will be her last with us at this local station. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, of course, the usual. And check out my other videos. I know there's not much right now, but there will be more coming in the future, so look out for those. I have another music-based video that's up already, the turning old records into DIY projects. So at the end, I talk a bit about the actual records and the old collector, which is really cool. So check that out. Thank you so much for sticking through it with me. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.